Good morning. Good morning. Sorry for the delay. Brock asked me to run this morning, and of course, I got on my computer about 15 minutes ago. Everything's running fine, and as soon as I went to log in, the whole thing crashed, and now I'm jumping in on my phone. So, sorry for the delay, but I'm glad you guys are still here. So, for those who don't know, I'm Cullen Wallace. I'm a member of this group. I live in Fairbanks, Alaska, and it is 4:23 in the morning here. Um, And for those who want to know, yes, it is dark, and yes, it is about 10 degrees. I just got in from taking my dog outside. Snow is on the ground, and it will be here until probably mid-March. Um, so, a couple things kind of been on my heart lately, and Brock wanted me to share on. One was for those who know me and have been around me in this space before, know that I took a long break this late summer, early fall, and spent 11 weeks traveling around America, including stopping in and seeing Brock and meeting several of you when I was in the Charlotte area. Um, it was the best thing I've ever done in my life, and I'm someone who is an introvert by nature. Um, I'm a I'm a quiet person. I have a lot of quiet pursuits. I'm a reader. I'm a cook, and I like the quiet time. But we also need to interact with other people. Um, and this did the best of both worlds. I spent a lot of time on the road by myself, just me and my dog, but also hung out a lot with people like Brock, who I'd never met before. We are connected in this space, but we had never met face to face before. Um, and there were some other people like that. Chad Free is another one I met. I'd never met Chad before. We have done business together. We've sent business back and forth to each other, but we had never met face to face. And it was wonderful. And where I'm going with all this is there's a big difference between being alone and being lonely. Lonely is a sense and it's a feeling, and we all go through phases where we feel lonely. And loneliness can be depressing, it can be sad, it can be all encompassing. But being alone is something that we should get comfortable with. We need to spend time alone. We need to spend time with our thoughts. We need to spend time in silence. We need to spend time letting our mind just kind of drift along. I was reading a book the other day about the fact that with the computer age, the information age, and especially the social media age, we don't spend time daydreaming anymore. Everything is hustle, 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 hustle. And we're always looking for stimulation, and we need that dopamine hit. And if we have downtime, I'm gonna scroll through social media for a bit. I'm gonna do that. And we don't spend time just being in silence and just letting the world happen around us and just listening to things and letting our mind drift and daydream and think about things. Exactly, as our stillness. We don't get still, and we need to find ways to find stillness in our lives. Um, and one of the advantages I have is that I am a single person. No one really relies on me except my dog. And I have a business that allows me to work remotely. I mean, I'm a real estate broker. It helps to have someone with boots on the ground here, but nowadays I do most of my business from the road. And so I did spend 11 weeks, drove over 13,000 miles, hit 24 states, and it was phenomenal. And spent a lot of that time just staring at the windshield. And it's funny because when I'm in town and I'm driving around and my normal routine, I never listen to music. I have either podcast or Audible going all the time. When I was on the road, it was music all the time. And I think one of the reasons for that was it does allow a lot more of your brain to just kind of drift and to think about things. And it was it was very therapeutic for me. This last year has not been the easiest year for me. So having that time to just think and sort through things and get to know me and how I feel about things. You know, I do these things periodically where I will sit down, and I'm a journaler, and I sit down and I'll take a couple days and just write and write and write and write. And last time I did this was about 7 years ago. At the time, I was still married. Both my parents were alive. Since then, I've gotten divorced. My parents both have passed. And so this time on the road was a great time for me. And again, I realized my life is a little different than most, and I have the freedom to do that. But try and work into your schedule somewhere in 2026 to have a couple days just to yourself. Go somewhere, just get in a car and go somewhere and drive off somewhere and just spend a couple days by yourself. Turn the phone off and just spend some time with you and spend time in that silence and in that stillness. And what it does for your mental health, what it does for your relationship with others, what it does for your relationship with yourself is incalculable. And it's something that I would strongly encourage all of you to do. Um, the other thing, which kind of ties in with this morning and the mayhem I'm having with computer problems this morning, one of the things I've been journaling about a lot lately is having patience. There's a great book called The 15 Laws of Conscientious Leadership, and it's about being in the moment and being present in the moment and forgetting the past. Whatever's happened in the past is the past. You can't change it. So stop worrying about it. Be in the moment. And when you're in conflict with someone, the question that we need to be asking is, why are we in conflict? Not that I'm right and you're wrong, but what's causing this? You and I have a good relationship. We get along. We seem to agree on a lot of stuff. Why are we disagreeing here? I need you to explain that to me. And having a curiosity about the disagreement versus having the need to be right. Um, and it does teach you patience, and it teaches you to step back and not be emotionally tied to the moment, but be curious about why we're here. What is causing this conflict to come about? And it works well in personal relationships. It works great in business. I found has been extremely helpful in my real estate business when a lot of times you'll have a seller who gets very emotionally upset because for a realtor, this is business, but for your clients, it's emotional. This is their home. And they get very attached to that and they get very emotionally attached to that. And when you start talking about making changes or inspector comes through and says, you need to do this, this, and this. And well, I don't need to, I've lived here fine. I don't need that done. It never bothered me. Okay. It may not bother you, but it has to be done. And instead of getting into a conflict about it, be curious. Okay. What's causing you to feel this way? And this really struck home. I read this book several years ago, but where it really struck home with me was I keep remembering this conversation I had with my now ex-wife about 5 years ago. As I mentioned, I'm a cook. I love being in the kitchen. That's kind of my space. And I also clean the kitchen. So one morning we were doing our morning routine thing, and I cleaned up the kitchen. She had gone to work, and I go into the bathroom, and she left her coffee cup on the counter in the bathroom. And it just set me off. I was mad. I was mad all day over her leaving her coffee cup there. And at the end of the day, when we both were home, I started in her about her coffee cup. And I'll never forget the look on her face. And she finally just leaned back and she goes, are you really mad at me about a coffee cup? And I said, no, I'm mad at you about your disrespect to me. And we get in this big conversation about it. And what I really was, I was mad about something happened 2 days ago that I didn't deal with because I didn't want to get in a confrontation about because, oh, it's not a big deal. But I let it sit and fester for 2 days. Something else happened. That was the spark that reignited the fire. And then instead of dealing with what I was mad about 2 days ago, I got mad about a coffee cup. And we all do that, right? I mean, you get mad about something, and then when you really think about it, you're going, what am I mad about? This isn't what I'm mad about. Why am I yelling about this? You're mad about something else, and you're letting this thing be the outlet that you're sparking on. And having that curiosity about why am I thinking this way? Why am I in this space where we're having a conflict? Where is this coming from? Let's dig deeper into that. That solves the problem. When you're both getting emotional, you both have to be right, you're not solving anything. All you're doing is pouring more gas on that fire. And so having the patience to step back and say, okay, why did I get here? How do I get out of this? How do we move forward? How do we get this better? You and I have a good relationship. We're friends. We're spouses. We're lovers, whatever it is. We have a good relationship. We can agree on a lot of stuff. And it's okay that we disagree on things. I just want to know if we're disagreeing about the right things or if we're fighting about something that doesn't mean anything. And having that patience and that clarity to just step back and go, okay, let's think about this for a moment. What are we doing? And it's hard to do because we are emotionally attached and we're emotionally attached to the outcome. And we want to always be right. And we always want to think that we're the smart person in the conversation. And the thing we all know this, but we don't remember is we don't learn anything when we're talking. And we have to listen to learn. And that means we have to stop talking. We have to step back and go, okay, tell me why you feel that way. Talk to me about this. Because that helps us get better understanding. And through that understanding, then we grow and we change. And that's the whole point of being here is to grow to our maximum capacity, be the best version of ourselves that we can be. You know, I know Brock is a big fan of John Maxwell. And one of the things that John Maxwell talks about is human beings are the only creature on the planet that has the choice to grow. Everything else grows to its maximum capacity. Now, it may have something that causes it from being able to grow to the maximum of that species or that kind of organism, but that individual will grow to its maximum capacity. We're the only ones who get to choose to grow. Are you growing? Are you growing to your maximum? You know, there's a theory that out there that one version of hell is we get to meet the person that we could have become. Are you getting to be your best version of you? And we should always be striving to become better. Be proud of who you are, be proud of what you've accomplished, but always want to get better. You know, I'm going to be a better brother next year. I'm going to be a better friend next year. I'm going to be a better realtor next year. I'm going to be more in touch with my friends. I'm going to be better in touch with my community. And we always want to be better. And that's the strive, that's the growth. And we have to grow by having new things exposed to us. We only know what we've been taught or what we've experienced. And we have to have new experiences. We have to have new learning. We have to keep growing all the time. Another wonderful book that's out there is from Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Personality isn't permanent. And what he talks about in that book is we reach a point in adulthood. I don't know, for me, I'm almost 60. And we start thinking sometimes, well, this is who I am. You know, I mentioned earlier, I'm a quiet person. I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert. That's just who I am. Well, it's not who you are. It's a part of who you are. And we're constantly changing because our world changes around us. So we have to change just to keep up. And when we step back and think about it, who you were 10 years ago is not who you are today. You're very different. And for some of us, we have made a conscious decision to grow and have vastly changed our lives. But for all of us, we're different than we were 10 years ago. And who you're going to be 10 years from now is very different from who you are today. So you make the conscious decision to grow instead of reacting on the stimulus around you that's causing you to grow. What you want to do is you want to be able to make the decisions to grow, and you're going to grow in a direction you want to go in. And we do that through what we read, what we listen to, what we put into our brain. Most of us are very conscious about our diet, of the foods that we eat and the things that we put into our mouth. What about what you're putting into your ears and what you're putting into your eyes? How conscious are you of that? That's the space that we grow. What are you listening to? What are you reading? You know, whenever I do a lot of mentoring of younger real estate agents, and it's one of the first things I ask them is, what are you reading? And if they're not reading books on growth and development, this is probably not a field for you. You probably need to go get a job. Being an entrepreneur is tough. It's really tough. Being a business owner is hard. And it's a whole lot easier to be an employee than it is to be a business owner. But we all have this dream of, I'm going to do this. Great. So what are you doing to reach those goals? I don't think it's my place to tell anyone what their goals and dreams should be. As coaching athletes, sit down at the beginning of the year and say, what are your goals? And almost without fail, and I coached hockey players, and almost without fail, they'd all say, well, you want to get down and want to play in college and then hopefully get a shot at playing professionally. Great. Sounds good. What are you doing to make that happen? And for most of us, we don't know the steps to take, so we don't do anything. We don't get involved. We don't engage ourselves. We don't get into action. The first step is talk to someone who's done what you want to do. If you want to sell 100 houses next year and you've never sold more than 20 houses, go talk to someone who has sold 100 houses. What did you do? How do you do this? People have an incredible capacity to help other people if you ask and if you get into action. If you sit in your chair and say, somebody come help me, no one's going to come help you. You have to get in action first. You have to get involved. Once you get involved, you will find all kinds of people who will help you. But what are you exposing yourself to? And what are you reading? What are you listening to? Are you a journaler? What are you writing about? What kind of, where are your thoughts at now? All those things determine where you're going to go and determine the growth you're going to have. What's your mental diet? What's your emotional diet? You want your life to get better, that's where it starts. And you start training yourself. And again, it ties in with, as we were talking about this morning, having quiet time, having stillness, having time by yourself. Don't be overstimulated. Spend time by yourself, spend time in silence. Um, for those of you who are religious, I'm sure you pray every day. If you don't, you need to. For those who aren't, start a meditation practice. Learn to meditate. Learn to be comfortable in the stillness. Let your subconscious mind grow. And that's going to make your life grow. And that's going to make your life change. And again, you can either let life change you or you can change your life. Those are your two options. For most of us, we like to sit back and let life change us. And we're not even aware of it because we just let it unfold. Excuse me, we don't get into action. But by being into action now, we're controlling our life instead of our life control us. So I'll open it up. Anyone's got a question? I don't know how to make this work on my phone, but I'll figure it out. So if anyone wants to come off mute, please do so. And I'd love to hear any thoughts.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I was scrolling through Instagram today, and I found somebody saying, "Be scared of those that don't worry to be alone." Like these people, like people that don't worry to be alone, don't are not scared to be alone. They don't depend on anybody to be happy, to be, accomplished. So for them, solitude, taking people out of their lives is not a problem because they are with themselves and they are enough. So he has like 8 points and reasons why you should be scared of people that don't worry to be alone because they are they are independent, like they are safe by themselves and they don't depend on you to be happy. They don't depend on company, on crowds. It's good to be on a team. It's good to be on a tribe. It's good to be part of the community, but it's more important to be clear that you are good by yourself as well. So that's a very important point that you mentioned there. Take time in 2026. Take time to be by yourself because it's healthy. Well, it helps if you are, there is a lot of things that you have to accomplish before being happy, being alone or being by yourself, not being scared of solitude. So thank you for sharing that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate your thoughts. And it's true. And as I said at the beginning, there's a huge difference between being lonely and being alone. And if you get comfortable with being alone and not feeling like you need to rely on other people for your emotional support, for your stimulation, for your to make your life go, then you're okay being alone. If you're lonely, reach out to someone, connect up with someone, but don't be afraid to be alone. And like I said, those two big differences in those things. Um, Thanks, Manuel. Anyone else? No. All right. I'm not seeing anyone. I'm seeing some things in the chat.
That's pretty
Oh,
awesome. Thanks for sharing.
no, absolutely. It's like I said, it was really I know my situation is a little different than most, but it was what I did this fall is the best thing I've ever done with my life, and it really has gave me a lot of clarity on the directions I'm going with life and where I want to go and what I want to do with myself, and making conscious decisions about how I want to change my life. And it all came from, excuse me, spending a lot of time alone. So, um, yeah, I encourage you to get comfortable being alone.
Hey, Cullen, this is Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey, I just want to say thank you. I'm enjoying having you back. I've missed you.
Thank you. You know, it's funny. I tell Brock all the time. I say, you know, man, I don't think I should be part of this anymore. I said I don't contribute much anymore. For those who haven't been around long, I used to live in Seattle, and I was on the call every day. In Seattle, it was 5:15, and I would get up at 4. I'd read, I'd pray, I'd meditate, I'd journal, and I'd jump on the call at 5:15, no problem. Some reason I'm in Alaska, and I struggle to get up at 4 o'clock to jump on here at 4:15. I don't know why it made a difference, but it has. I really struggle to get up this early to jump on the call. But I love
I
being in this
understand.
group, so thank you.
Yeah, I understand. I'm visiting my sister in Colorado, so normally I'm at 7:15. Now I'm at 6:15. So
Yeah,
it's an adventure, but
yeah.
we're glad to have you back.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. Anybody else?
Hey, Colin, it's Paul here in Greenville. Thanks again for our
Hey,
visit. How
Paul.
are you?
Absolutely. I'm doing well. Thanks. How are you?
Good, buddy. Just wondering what were your top three ahas on your trip for what was it, 11 weeks?
11 weeks. Yes, sir.
Yeah, what were your three big takeaways?
You know, Paul, I think the number one was something that happened kind of before and a little bit during, but mostly before, is getting out of my comfort zone of I am my love language is acts of service. I like doing things for other people. But the other side of that coin is I don't like people doing things for me. I feel uncomfortable with that. I don't like being in the spotlight. You know, I don't do birthdays. I never have. I don't. My mom used to drive my mom crazy. She'd always want me to have a birthday party, and I didn't want one. Um, and I like doing things for other people, but I don't want them doing things for me. And where I'm going with this is one of the things I did was I had to get out of my comfort zone to communicate with people. I stayed in a hotel 6 nights out of those 11 weeks. The rest of the time I stayed with friends. And most of it involved calling someone like Brock, who, again, we'd never met face to face, and going, "Hey, I'm coming to Charlotte. I'm coming to see you." And Brock always, "Dude, you got to stay here." I said, "Well, I got my dog." "No, you have to stay here." And opening myself up to the kindness of others instead of just going, "Well, I'm just going to stay in a hotel and be fine." And that is my default setting is I'll just stay in a hotel and be fine by myself. But allowing myself to accept the love of friends, it was really something that I got out of this thing. Um, One of the things that it ties in with that is I have a friend of mine who used to live here in Alaska that I knew when I was living here before, and he lives in a remote area of northern Florida. Um, he's disabled, can't work anymore, disabled vet. Excuse me. And I went to see him and his family, spent a couple days with him. And the morning I left, his wife and kids had gone. The kids had gone to school, wife's gone to work, and we're standing in his yard saying goodbye. And this is a mountain of a man who has done amazing things. And he got very emotional. And he said, "You have no idea what it meant that you came to see me." He said, "I'm out here kind of in a remote area. It's hard to find." The fact that you took time out to come see me means the world to me. And the connections, the friendships, we are putting each other's lives for a reason. Don't disrespect that. Honor that. And I've always been a big believer. If someone pops in my head, they came in my head for a reason, I reach out to them. If for some reason Brock pops in my head, right then I shoot him a text going, "Hey buddy, I was just thinking about you. I want to make sure you're doing okay." And usually there's a reason they popped in your head. Don't ever discount that. So the friendships and the connections we make, this whole thing was about excuse me, spending time alone, but we also need to connect with other people. That's the fuel that drives our life is the people that we connect with. That's our purpose here is to help other people have a better life. So connect with those people. And then the third thing, Paul, is just the fact of I spent a lot of time alone and I never once got lonely. Never. I never once I wish there was someone else. It's just I was always at peace with the time I was spending alone and letting my mind flow. So, those are three big things for me.
Thanks, my man. Thanks for sharing. Great as
Absolutely.
always.
Thanks, sir. Anybody else?
Hey, Cullen, before we close out, I just wanted to remind everybody of Figure Out Friday tomorrow. We're going to have Kendra Cook on describing her book, The Daily Well, and it's about a daily planner. And it's really kind of amazing how quickly she and a friend of hers put it together. And I'm just really excited to have her share with us tomorrow. So please, everyone, come and join and send your friends.
Awesome. Thanks for the reminder. Also, for those who are in position to and haven't already, please sign up to come to Nashville. I'm coming. I already bought my ticket, got my hotel reservations. I'm all set. So I look forward to seeing as many of you there as can make it. I know it's right after the holidays. It's not the easiest time for everyone to spend extra money, but it will absolutely change your life. This is a wonderful group that does a lot of great things. So if you're in position to do so, please make plans to come to Nashville. So anyone else have anything else before we close it out? All right. Again, I apologize for the lateness of this and the tech delays, but I really appreciate you guys sticking through this. This is a fabulous group, and if you come all the time, it absolutely will make your life better. This is one of those healthy things you're putting into your ears and into your eyes that will help your diet. So make today a great day. It's your decision whether you have a good day or a bad day. So make it a great one. Decide to. And come tomorrow for Figure It Out Friday. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.